Welcome to the second video of the course, Zbrush Basics. On this video, we'll cover the object's location in the 3D space and the exact object's measurements, meaning the real scale. First, the object's location. As you may know, on a 3D space we have three axes: the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis, which would be the depth in this case. However, we don't have a sign telling us the axis for this object in the space. We don't know if you're looking at the object from a side, front, or top. In order to find that out, we could use this button we find on the right panel, called Floor Grid, and its shortcut is Shift P. If we press this button, or hit Shift P on the keyboard, we can see we get kind of a line in our canvas. In order to rotate our view in the canvas, we just have to click on an empty space and rotate it. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly on your screens, but at this instance, we've got three axes on our view. The x-axis, which is a red line, the y-axis, which is a green line, and the z-axis, which is a blue line. Each one of these lines represent each one of the axes of our 3D space. In the case of the red line, x is the horizontal line, y is the vertical line, or the height, and z is the depth line. Reason why, if we move the view, you can see the y-axis over here. This is the height. It's letting us know, at the moment, this is the right position of the object. This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and the depth is on z, which means we are looking at the object from a front perspective. On this case, taking these same guides, we can say this is the top perspective, and this is a lateral perspective. It's important to know on what axis is our object located, so when we use other softwares, along with Zbrush, we won't get issues, and we'll be able to work more efficiently. What I've just explained is the elements arranged on the 3D space. Now let's talk about the measurement, or real scale of the objects. Before proceeding, I'll give you a quick trick. As I told you, if we click on an empty space of our canvas, our view rotates freely. However, if we press and hold Shift, we move and press Shift. We move and press Shift. We move and press Shift. The view will rotate by 90 degrees, meaning very exact rotations. In this case, for getting back to where we started. First we press on an empty space, and by pressing Shift, we get the front perspective. Now, to talk about the measurements, Zbrush has got some measurements by default. A unit in Zbrush is equivalent to a meter. As for other softwares, or 1 meter in real life. That's how Zbrush is set by default. How can we get the measurement of this object? As a measurement, we'll take the distance between one point and another. In this case, for instance, between this point and this point. What's the distance on this object? How big it is? Those are the measurements on Zbrush. For that information, we use a tool called Transpose, which shows up if we click on this button called Move. As we can see, an icon appears over here called Transpose, the same as this icon. If we use this, click, and drag up to another point, we can see it generates a line. This line carries out a specific role, which is to let us know the distance among the 2 points. In this case, we can see on the upper part, there is an icon stating 2 units. That means, from this point up to this portion, there are 2 units, or in the real world, the equivalent to 2 meters. That's basically the measurements system Zbrush handles, and the system you should get used to on this software. This is the measurement Zbrush handles, and once you get the hang of it, you will be able to import objects from this software to another one with no problem. I hope this video is useful for you, and I'll see you then on the next video.